You've written a book, you've launched it into the world, and you've enjoyed all those initial book sales that come along with making a splash with your launch. But what do you do to make sure that your book continues to sell time and time again over the long haul? Well, in this video, I'm going to give you not one or two ways to make that happen, but 7 killer ways to make sure that your book stays relevant and consistently sells way into the future. Hey, it's Chris Ducker here, and thanks so much for joining me. If this is your first time watching one of my videos, I appreciate you dropping by. But please don't forget to hit that subscribe button if you're watching on YouTube, as I upload new videos each and every week, and I'd hate for you to miss out on any of the good stuff I've got coming in the future. This is the final video in our 5-part series that's been focused on helping you write, publish, and market your book into the world. So far, we've covered everything from figuring out what your book topic should actually be about, how to actually write and edit the book, as well as how to launch the book, sell a ton of copies of it, and get lots of reviews in the process. So in this, the final video of the series, we're going to deep dive on a handful of ways that will help you continue to market and sell your book over the long term after its initial launch. I mean, we wrote and published our book to have a lasting effect on the world. Am I right? Not just for a week or two. So let's dive straight in. Ongoing marketing strategy number 1. Now, it goes without saying that if you don't already have a dedicated page on your website for your book, that needs to change immediately. Having a page that's 100% focused on your book will give you a chance to showcase it to your website visitors directly on the site itself. Now, on this page, I'd highly suggest that you have high-res 3D mock-ups of your book cover, some blurbs from your influencers in your industry endorsing the book itself, plus a few key takeaways for readers to expect when they pick it up for themselves. I'll be sure to include a link to Amazon, obviously, to make it easy for people to go ahead and order the book. A second way to keep sales coming in post-launch is to continuously liaise and team up with influencers in your niche. Now, these can be bloggers or YouTubers, podcasters, or just those that are active on social media and obviously have audiences that you know that your book can help. Now, sending free copies to these people is sometimes enough in itself for them to give you a mention, but from time to time you might have to pay for that placement. You should consider this by all means, but be strategic with where and when you place your book. Tip number 3 is to consider running some paid ads to promote your book. Now, I wouldn't do this directly per se, but if you were to set up a short ad campaign funnel on Facebook, for example, initially pointing people towards some content on your website that's highly relevant to the subject of your book, and then obviously retarget those visitors with an ad focused on selling your book directly, I bet that you'd see additional sales streaming in. Now, this will be way more beneficial to those that self-publish their book, obviously, as they get the lion's share of the cover price compared to traditionally published authors. But nonetheless, it's a strategy that does work well. Next up, I'd love for you to consider shooting a book trailer. Now, I will say you might want to consider this earlier on in your book launch proceedings, as we're definitely consuming more video nowadays than ever before in the history of the world. It's what we like and it's what we want nowadays, plain and simple. But in case you haven't done this earlier on, now is the time to consider doing so. Look, having a video trailer gives you the chance to tell the story of your book a little more from a personal perspective, one that will probably connect very nicely to each of your readers. It's also a great way to highlight some of the content from the book and some key takeaways too. Now, whether you want to put yourself in front of the camera on this project or not, a book trailer should certainly be something that every author has in their marketing arsenal today. So, have you already got a book trailer to help promote your book? Or have I maybe convinced you to go ahead and give it a try? Let me know in the comments right now. Tip number 5. I thoroughly suggest that you create a library of social media images and related copy that you can use on and off to continuously promote your book via all the platforms that you're present and active on. Look, being front of mind is key to keeping your book and its relevancy in the lives of those that you know it can actually help when it comes to ongoing sales. Many of us need several prompts to purchase something before we actually end up putting our hands in our pockets, so to speak. And the same can be said for book readers. So be sure that your book pops up in the day-to-day lives of your social media followers on a consistent, non-spammy kind of basis. Going back to video for a moment, my next tip to ongoing book sales post-launch is to film a small series of videos that you can post to YouTube as a playlist. This can focus on maybe 4 or 5 key takeaways from the book itself, giving people a really clear understanding as to what the book is about and why they should grab a copy of it. Now, I did this for my first book, Virtual Freedom, right here on my channel, and people have loved the tips and the tactics I shared in the series, obviously leading to great book sales. And lastly, I thoroughly suggest you hit the road, so to speak, and put together a killer live presentation focused on the key messages from your book that can be presented in front of live audiences at conferences as well as online audiences in the form of a webinar. Having this signature talk for your book is also a brilliant way to work into any speaking agreements that you land that everyone in the audience should get a copy given to them as part of the deal. And whether you get paid to speak or for the books themselves, it doesn't really matter. It's another great way to make sure that your book gets into as many hands as possible. Now, to make it easier for you to write and market a best-selling book, I put together a free guide that'll help you navigate the ins and outs of successfully writing and marketing a book to bestseller status. You can get it today by visiting youpreneur.com/bestselling secrets or by simply clicking the link below the video. I'll see you in the next video.